What is going on, YouTube? I am Prepper Princess, the author of Living on Almost Nothing. If you are interested in purchasing my book, I will go ahead and leave a link down in the description box below. A couple of things really, I guess, gave me the inspiration to make this video. And the first one is that recently I sold an e-bike. Okay, I sold it for $1,500. It is a $2,500 e-bike that I was selling for $1,500, almost brand new, less than 50 miles on it. And when I put the ad up on Craigslist, I put it up on Craigslist and Facebook, a couple other places, but I don't remember where this person, which platform they found it on. But I put in every ad that I create, this is a $2,500 e-bike that I'm selling for $1,500 with less than 50 miles on it. Please do not try to bargain or negotiate. This is a very good price for this bike. And of course, and I've sold other e-bikes too, and 100% of the time they try to bring me down on the price. They'll say, okay, everything's fine, meet you in person, we meet, and then they try to say, can you take something off? No, because here's something that's really interesting. If they know, like if they want the bike and they say, will you take something off? Maybe they're just doing it just to get, free money off. And they're just like, well, might as well try, and I would do the same thing unless they said, don't negotiate. I would not negotiate if they said, don't negotiate. But, oh, I had a point. I'm so sorry. I forgot it. But the same, it's just like, to me, it's almost insulting when you're getting a really great deal on something and it's a win-win situation and you're still trying to get money off of it, but you're getting an amazing price. And then on the other hand, as a seller, I know that if this person will not give me the $1,500 that I'm asking for, I can be patient and someone else will. Someone else will. It might not be today, it might not be next week, but it might be next month, in 6 months. Somebody will give me $1,500 for it. And another thing that inspired me with this video was when I bought my Toyota Corolla and my Toyota Camry. So if you all know the story, I had a 98 Toyota Camry that my grandmother gave me as a gift, and I loved that car. I didn't think I would. I loved it. And if you all know the 98 Camry or the Camrys from, I think it's like 96 to 2001, they don't die. Like everything works on them perfectly until the day that they do die. And they don't die until they have like 1,000,000 miles. Now, I don't know what happened, but I was in the middle of the desert. My transmission went out. I went to the repair shop and they wanted like $6,000 to repair it using a used engine or a used transmission. And I was like, this car's only worth like $1,500. And and I was already pricing out getting a Toyota Corolla, and they happened to have a moderately used one on their lot that I got for like $14,000 or $14,000 or $15,000. I don't remember the exact amounts. You'll have to go to my video when I sold my Corolla, and I have the actual dollar amounts in there. But so I drove the Corolla, and I thought that it was my dream car. It's the car that I had been looking at for like 3 years. I really wanted it. It was pretty new, and I got this car, and it just was not what I thought it was. Like, it ran great, it looked great, it was awesome, but it had black leather interior, which is what I thought I wanted. Well, no. Now, I like keeping things extremely clean, very pristine, polished and smelling. I want that new car smell always. And the thing about the Corolla, oh my gosh, doggies. Thing about the Corolla is with the black leather seats, if you'd so much as roll down a window and the wind blows, dust and particles come in and then it goes on the black leather seats and then all you see is dust and particles. Like, you can't even crack a windshield. If you have kids or pets, forget it. I put my dogs in there, game over. I can't, I just couldn't keep it looking pristine the way that I like to keep a car looking. So I started shopping again for a 98 Toyota Camry. I'm like, okay, well, I probably won't find one because people don't really get rid of them. they keep them and then they just, that's it. That's the end. It's kind of like a Tacoma, Tacoma. Yeah, it's kind of like a Toyota Tacoma. Like, once people have them, it's like when you move into a good neighborhood, you never leave, and you're there for like generations. It's like when you get a Toyota Camry, you keep it for generations. And it was hard. They were hard to find. So I came across a 1998 gold Toyota, same color, same interior. Everything was exactly the same. And it only had like, I want to say like 68,000 miles on it. It was an old lady's garage kept car. And when she died, it went to her grandson, and her grandson was a mechanic, and he kept it in pristine condition. But then he started a job where he had to use a big work truck with tools and stuff. So he didn't have a need for the Camry anymore. And it was still garage kept under a car cover. And he takes the car cover off, and I'm like, oh, and it only has like, 60,000 miles on it. And it's a 98. It's 25 years old with 60,000 miles. I start it up. I take it for a test drive. I'm like, I must have this car. And it was $4,000. Now, this was just a month or two before the car prices started skyrocketing. I'm like going up like crazy. And I'm like, man, he's asking $4,000. That's a lot. But I know the value of a Camry. I still felt that because it had such low mileage, I was getting a great deal. Or actually, I kind of felt like I was overpaying because I come from the days where you get a beater car for $1,500, but this was not a beater car. So I paid the $4,000. And then over the next year, I just stopped driving my Corolla, and it was all about my Camry. It's a smoother ride. It's comfortable. It's wonderful. I didn't negotiate the price. I didn't try to bring them down because, win-win situation. And I still have that's my car. I still have the 98 Toyota Camry, still has the new car smell. I just hit 90,000 miles. But, and I use my e-bikes for most of my driving or most of my commuting, whatever you call it. Most of my moving around is on my e-bike. So I'm going to be able to keep this Toyota Camry, hopefully, for the rest of my life. Because it gets washed and waxed and cleaned inside and out every single week. I do the oil changes myself. I've changed a couple light bulbs. I changed the battery. I do that stuff myself because I'm very familiar with the Camry. So everybody is happy. But for the longest time, before the prices skyrocketed, I felt like I paid too much. Like I paid way too much for this thing. And then, this whole debacle happens and people are like, how did you get such a low mileage car for only $4,000? Teach me, master. And I'm like, okay, look here, grasshopper. I felt like I overpaid and I almost didn't buy it. But the great thing about that is I paid $4,000 for the Camry and I got my 15 grand back for my Corolla because I sold my Corolla. So 15,000 in, 4,000 out equals $11,000 profit for a car that I like even more. Moving on down the line. So there is this thing in my head now. I'm just like, I am not overpaying for anything. And I feel like almost everything in this world is overpriced now. We have this crazy inflation thing going on, and everybody is paying these prices. When eggs went up to $8 a gallon, I'm like, I'm not going to pay it. I'm going to get my eggs from my brother, and then I'm just going to not eat eggs. When steak went up to like $12 or $13 a pound, I'm not going to eat it. I'm not going to eat it. If fish gets up to $13 a pound, I'm going fishing. Forget it. I'm not going to eat it. And there's a lot of things that people think that they're getting a good deal on because they like the service, they like the gadget or gizmo, but they're overpaying and they don't know it. Now, here's the thing. If you switch from a company that you're overpaying for, and you may not even think you're overpaying, if you switch, and that other company where you're paying a quarter as much, you're paying 75% less, offers just as good a service as the one that you're paying full price for, wouldn't you go with the one that's 75% less? A lot of people say, of course I would, of course. And yet they don't do it. So I'm just going to give you a couple of examples, okay? For starters, 48% of Americans still have cable TV, and they pay approximately $150 a month for it. Look, I get it. You like your weekly NFL stuff, okay? But here's the deal. streaming on a device like a Roku. I have a Roku TV, but you can buy a Roku box for $25. You don't have to have a smart TV. You can have a dumb TV. And you just buy a Roku box for $25. It's links in description for Amazon. And that's what I used for years until I upgraded to this smart TV. I still have the Roku boxes in my fully furnished rental property in Arizona. Both TVs have Roku boxes. And that's what I used until I moved here. Now, a Roku box costs one-time charge of $25. And then you put on streaming apps. You download the apps. You've got FilmRise, Freevee, FreeFlix, Pluto, Peacock, and it goes down the line for like there is everything on there, seriously. Even Amazon Prime, like if you go into Amazon Prime, if you put an app on a Roku box for Amazon Prime and you are not a Prime member, you don't buy the $150 a year plan, but you go into your Amazon Prime, your app just to see, maybe I'll get Amazon Prime or something. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know how I came across this. They offer free movies on Amazon, on the Amazon app, free movies. They have Little House on the Prairie every single season, and it's not just crappy movies. These are good movies. I just saw like all of the Mummy series with like Brendan Fraser. They've got all the Jurassic Parks and they've got Jurassic World all on free apps. They've got Titanic, really good, solid movies. So, and you get to pick them. It's also like having what are those boxes that like hold, like you record a episode? Not VCR. It's not a VCR. It's one of those other boxes that I don't even think those are like a thing anymore. But it's free. It's free. I can't understand why people pay for cable anymore. It's a relic. It is redundant. It's old technology. It's like having a VCR. It is. And I'm not making fun, but if you go to streaming, it's better than cable and it's free. And it's 10 times better than cable TV, except for the sports. But I don't even know if these apps have sports. If there's sports apps, I don't know because I don't watch sports. But paying $150 a month to watch football games it's not worth it. It's not. Do something more productive with your time, all right, the next one is water. Now here's a funny thing is that, water rates are different based on anywhere that you live. Some places are extremely expensive. Some places are extremely cheap. But here's just a couple of things that you can do to change. This will save you $10 a month off of your water. $10 a month. So instead of taking a shower with like these high pressure, high flow you can buy a low flow shower head, or you can contact your local water company, and typically they will ship them to you for free. But they're only like, you can get them as cheap as $5 at Home Depot and Lowe's or Ace Hardware, or whatever your place is. You can get them as cheap as $5, and you just simply unscrew the old one and you screw the new one in, and you get the same water pressure, the same water flow, that it feels like you're getting the same, but it uses so much less water. So instead of like 6 gallons a minute, it's like you can get it down to 0.8, but typically the water saving ones are like 1.2. And it's $5, and it'll save you $5 the first month. And to me, that's a big deal, because not only does it save you on your water bill, it's helping the environment. Only like 2 or 3% of the world's water is drinkable, and we're just recycling the water that we're using. Our gray water, our black water is turning into drinkable water again. But, let's lighten the load on the planet and just use less, but without any difference in our lifestyle. Now, I am all for, on this channel, I always talk about use this cheaper thing instead of the expensive thing. Like, so you're getting the same thing, but you're paying less. But there's also something to be said about doing without completely. And that's where I go to like the laundry. Whenever people are like in debt over their heads, they are backed into a corner and they have no idea what to do. the first thing they ask about is, how do I save money on laundry? Because for some, I don't know what it is mentally. It's always laundry that's first. How do I save money on laundry? Well, I've made a couple of laundry videos, but, and people always say use cold water, hang dry your clothes. And yes, that helps. Of course that helps. I also have an energy saving laundry thingy. But the only way that you can do laundry for free. You just soak it in a bucket and you wash it yourself and wring it out yourself and hang it yourself. That's free laundry. That's how you do laundry for free. So if you want to say, how do I save money on laundry? Just do it that way. Don't use soap or use your body soap that you have in the bathroom, use shampoo, whatever, and just put that in the laundry and do it that way instead. There you go. Free laundry. I just solved your whole laundry debacle. Just do it in a bucket by hand. That's how you save on laundry. But I think that what people are really, it's when they've reached their pinnacle of, I have no clue what to do and I'm dead broke. And I've also gotten, how do I save money on deodorant? Well, deodorant's $1.25 and, a deodorant stick should be lasting you several months. So saving $1, if you buy a stick of deodorant for $5 at a regular store or $1.25 at Dollar Tree, you're saving $3 over the course of 3 to 6 months. So it's like you're saving $1 a month. That's not going to make a difference. Much of it is, it's going to make a difference of $1, but there's not much. You can't even buy a pack of gum for $1. So it's not going to make a huge difference. So, with laundry, come on. First of all, everybody uses way too much laundry soap. They also don't understand that the agitation cycle is what does the cleaning, not the soap itself. Soaps typically just leave suds in your clothes and make it so that more dirt clings to your clothes, so that you'll have to buy more laundry soap from these companies that manufacture it, so that you'll need to continually buy it. For me personally, I do not work a sweaty job fixing forklifts as a forklift mechanic, and I'm not a farmer, being up waist deep in horse poop, or cow poop. So, I do my laundry typically. I don't even use laundry soap. Once every third load, I'll use one tablet of Amazon Essentials pods that are for HE washers, and my washer's high efficiency. It came with the house. I didn't buy it. I didn't pay for it. That's what I do. But if you want to be all like proper about it, if you want to be like totally 100% proper about it, look, Zote soap is a stain remover. It smells really good. And they have these big bars that you can get for like $1.18. Well, Zote soap is doing something really smart. They actually made small bars. So the bars that they're selling, they sell the big regular ones, but they also sell bar soap that is smaller. It's half the size of the big one. And they have them at my grocery store for 58 cents a bar. Now, if you go in and you just you stain clean, you clean the stains with this Zote bar, the Zote bar will last you 6 months to a year. At least 6 months, probably a year or more even, but at the minimum 6 months. You go in there, you clean the stains, and then you throw them in the washing machine. No additional soap, just throw them in the washing machine. The residue from the Zote soap will be in there, and then that's how you save money on laundry. But I just wanted to get that out of the way because everybody always asks about laundry. Just don't pay for soap, and wash it by hand if you want it for free. Garbage. So garbage is different everywhere, but some garbage companies, not all, most have these big giant garbage cans. But there are certain places where you can pay less and they'll give you a smaller garbage can. And it gets to be like a 3-foot tall garbage can that's like this wide and this deep. And that is the cheapest way that you can do it. The recycling and organics are always free. They don't charge you for that, but the garbage, they actually do that. And if you want to go to a smaller garbage can, but you can't because you have too much garbage every week, I would recommend using your barbecue or your fire pit, and burning all the paper in there. Just anything that's paper, burn it in there, and your garbage will be like having a full garbage can every week to like this much. So because most of the garbage is most of the garbage, like filling it now, is paper. So if you're burning your paper, it's doing two things. Number one, it's keeping it from the landfill. Three things. Number two, it's saving your identity, because a lot of this junk mail has all of your personal information on it. And number three, it's keeping you warm for no charge. So just sit there with your pile of papers and throw them in there and have a nice little bonfire, maybe roast some marshmallows, have a good time, and you'll be able to get a smaller garbage can. The next one is cell phone. Of course, I have Mint Mobile. I love Mint Mobile. I've had him for 3 years now, maybe more, maybe up to 4 years, 3.5 years, something like that. I am an affiliate with Mint Mobile, and I will leave a link down in the description box below. Anytime anybody emails or comments in the comments section once they have switched over to Mint Mobile, very rarely is there an unhappy customer. Most people are like, oh my God, I wish I did this sooner. There's a couple people who can't get service and they're disappointed with it, and they'll switch back to their old carriers. But it's a slight inconvenience to try something that could be like great. $15 a month for 5 gigs of data. I'm in the house most of the time, and it's just on my cell phone. It's just Wi-Fi. So I'm just using Wi-Fi on my cell phone at home, or if I go to the library, standard Wi-Fi doing my internet searches, or for maps. That's pretty much all I use my cell phone for, is maps, Google Maps, when I'm not on Wi-Fi. So the 5 gigs is perfectly enough for me. That's all I need. I actually did fine when it was 4 gigs, but they upped it to 5 gigs. And a smaller carrier works on a larger network. If you have AT&T and you absolutely do not want to switch AT&T, but you're paying $100 a month, you can go to Cricket. Cricket Wireless is the same exact service as AT&T. It's actually a subsidiary of AT&T, and AT&T owns Cricket Wireless. And it's $30 a month at Cricket. So there's always alternatives. If you have Sprint and you love Sprint, it's like a big carrier, go ahead and Google in there what cell phone companies use the Sprint network, and it'll come up with all these different cell phone companies. You click on there and you check out their rates and how many gigs they offer and see if it'll work for you, and you'll have the same service for less money. Electricity is not that difficult. What I like to do is I like to put things on a surge protector bar, and then if I need to save money on my electricity, I don't now because I have solar, and all of my solar, I actually have more solar than I use, so I get money back from the electricity company at the end of the year. So that's not an issue for me. I don't need to save electricity, but I used to. And if you need to save electricity, I put everything on a bar, a power surge bar, and you shut it off at night when you go to bed. And then typically people go to bed, they wake up, and then they go to work. So they're not coming in and turning on the lights and going and watching TV and the radio and all that stuff. So you have the option of, like, say you go to bed at 10 at night and then you turn it all off. Right? So you've got everything's connected to it. Your TV, your modem, your computer, your lights, your lamps, all that stuff is connected to that surge protector that you turn off at 10 o'clock at night. And then you don't come home until 5 o'clock the next day from work. I mean, you're not using that stuff because the only thing you're doing in the morning is getting ready for work. So you're getting ready for work. You come home from work 5 p.m. And then you come in, you flick the switch, and in 5 minutes, your internet's back up and your computer's all booted up and you can do whatever you want. The biggest hurdle to this is the 5-minute inconvenience of waiting for the modem to boot up and the computer to boot up. People would rather pay an extra $50 a month for the convenience of that 5 minutes of flicking the switch. I gotcha. That's fine. But if you'd like to save a lot of money, do that. Also, there is another way that you can do it. And I mean, if you are, let's see, well, that wouldn't work for most people. It worked for me because I did it differently. So you can, well, here you go. You can go to your main breaker and turn off every single breaker in the house except for the refrigerator. Because that's all you need. When you're gone for the day, just go to the breaker before you go to work, flip them all off except for the refrigerator, and then your water is still going to be hot by the time you get home. But when you get home, you just flick it all back on, and you just, again, that's at least 8 or 9 hours where your house was using absolutely nothing. There's no phantom power, nothing crazy like that. And in some cases, if you work a 4-hour shift, you can turn it all off, including your refrigerator. So those are huge ways to save on electricity. I have gotten some people say I used your methods and it saved me $40 a month. Some people are like, your methods saved me $217 a month with these electricity things. So that's a really big one too. Really big one. Another big expense that people are paying too much for is car insurance. I don't understand the full car coverage. I really don't. I've never had full car coverage, except for a very brief stint where I had a car loan for about 5 months. But I have liability only. And the thing is that people get really worked up about this. Like, you need to have full insurance because if we get into a car accident, you can't cover it. Well, then let's not get in an accident. I do most of my driving on my e-bikes. I only use my car very rarely. I do not need full coverage. Definitely. I have never been in an accident. I've never been in a fender. The only fender bender I've had is when my car was parked while I was at work and somebody hit my car while I was in the building. And I paid $600 for that car, and I got a check for $1,400 from the car insurance of the person that hit me, and I kept driving the car for 3 more years the way it was, scratches and all. But I don't want full coverage. I refuse to pay $200 a month for car insurance. I refuse to pay $200 a month for a $4,000 car. It's not going to happen. I do liability only, and if there were no laws about car insurance, I wouldn't have it at all. And you can go ahead and say, no, you need it for this, that, and the other thing. That's fine. Go ahead and have your opinion and I have mine. I think car insurance I think it's a scam because anytime anybody does get in a car wreck and they have full insurance on their car, anytime I've ever heard from somebody, they have a car that they put $14,000 of modifications and upgrades into, and then they just, they get in, somebody hits them, and then and they want their car repaired, but the company comes back and says, sorry, it's totaled. Here's your check for the value of the car of $4,000. And it's like, I just put 14 grand into it. Well, they don't care. And I've never used home insurance. I have home insurance because if I live in a wildfire area, thank goodness we have not had any wildfires this year, but I'm very much considering not having it. And please, I'm not going to read the comments. I'm not going to read the comments on this video. So you all should understand that that if you have an opinion that is different than mine, you are entitled to your opinion, and it might be the right opinion for you, but it's not the right opinion for me because everybody is different. I'm very much considering not having home insurance. And then there's medical insurance, which I do have, and it is the bill that I loathe getting. I hate the bill. It's an auto pay, but it's over $500 a month for medical insurance. And it is the cheapest medical insurance I could find for what I need. Because I just want to cover catastrophics. I don't, and checkups, I guess, but I don't have any ailments. I don't take any medications. I am in perfect health. And the only thing it's for is if I say I have a stroke or a heart attack tomorrow, just out of nowhere, and I need open heart surgery, I need medical insurance for that. But I do. Every state has different medical. When I was in Arizona, it was $217 a month, but it was horrible insurance. And I decided I didn't want horrible insurance. And plus, California doesn't offer horrible insurance. Like, Arizona was like a 60-40. So if I got, or 70-30, if I needed open heart surgery, they'd pay 70% and I'd pay 30. It's like, well, great. So now I'm only going to pay $300,000 instead of $1 million, But that was the best that they had. That was the best they had. And the worst that they have here is $500 a month, but it's like 100% covered. Everything's 100% covered. I think except for prescriptions. Anyway. All right, folks. I want you guys to seriously think, are you paying too much? And if you are paying too much, it's time to rethink things and not say, well, I like the service. You know, they're always nice to me on the phone. They're easy to get a hold of. Well, yeah, that's why they charge so much, because they're nice and polite and professional on the phone, and you don't have to go through a queue. But as infrequently as you use that phone number to call them, like say it's your car insurance, and you're paying $300 a month where you could be getting it for $50 a month at a different company. And yes, there are differences that big. Now, how often do you call your car insurance company? Once every 5 years? So if you're paying an extra $3,000 a year over 5 years, you're paying $15,000 for a phone call. Just saying. Do what you can with what you've got. Prepper Princess out.